Our great Shaykh, the great scholar, Shaykh al-Fawzan, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he said, because he's alive today and he sees, he's over 90 years old. So over these years and decades, nearly a century, he has seen how society has evolved. How society, year after year, decade after decade, has reduced itself and demeaned itself and corrupted itself. So he said, so these, meaning these liberals and kuffar, they call to the liberation of women. And what they intend by that is that she leaves the home uncovered, without hijab, semi-clad. That she should leave her home sinful, disobedient to Allah, and disobedient to her husband or her father. Meaning that these women that are encouraged to leave their homes, that their forefathers, meaning their mothers and their grandmothers, weren't like that. Especially their grandmothers and great-grandmothers. That they wouldn't leave the home, meaning they would leave the home if they had to go shopping or do something. Other than that, they would stay in their homes and nurture their children and raise the household. So from an early age, these young girls and women in the West, that they are taught to focus on their career rather than marriage, rather than their families and raising children. That you're allowed to go where you want, go where she pleases, sleep with whomsoever she pleases. That she's notching up numerous sexual partners. And it is not uncommon in Western societies now for a woman by the age of 30, not uncommon for her to have had 20 or more sexual partners by the age of 20. Which man, which respectable man with honor, who wishes to provide and have children, would marry a woman who's had 20 sexual partners or more through fornication? He can trust her. He can trust that when she has a baby, it's his baby. How does he preserve his lineage when he knows that this woman has had 20 sexual partners before she met him and he married her? All alongside and going alongside this is that she's told this is your liberation. She's told that this is freedom, liberation and advancement of women's rights. So by the time she reaches her late 30s and she's gone through all of this, tired, lonely, childless, used by men and unwanted. So she finds pleasure in what? Just the money that she saved up, it's in the bank. Shopping for handbags and shoes. And maybe she finds comfort in a cat. That's her. And if you think that this is something that is made up by me, this is actually normal in society by the time. But by the time they've realized it's too late, who's going to marry you? Who's going to marry you? 20, 30 sexual partners. Tired. Khalas, you got your money. What did you achieve? Shaykh al-Fawzan, he said, Islam on the other hand, came to respect women. And came with the respect of women. To uphold her rights. To protect her. To preserve her honor. So the liberals come along. The unbelievers come along. And they oppose this. And they want her to waste herself. They want her to be lost. So that her honor is lost. Her manners are lost. Her religion is lost. Her body is wasted. And she becomes just a cheap commodity. Something that is rakhisa. A cheap commodity that is traded between wolves among the men. That's why social media is filled with naked women. And they think this is or they are fooled into thinking that this is liberation. All you're doing is satisfying the perversions of men. So the men take her and they pass her from one to another. Then Shaykh al-Fawzan said, and when she reaches old age and her body is of no desire to them, she is cast into a small dwelling or a care home to live tired and broken, and she has no one to care for her. Meaning that she has no family, no children, no grandchildren. The only one standing next to her bed is the nurse. She doesn't live like an honorable woman because she was never treated with honor. So this is the liberation of women according to their values that they call to. And how many Muslims have been deceived by this call? How many women from the Muslimeen, from the Muslimat, from our sisters have been deceived by this call? And how many from our Muslims, from our ranks have been carried by some who have these wicked intentions, meaning they are within our ranks and they are calling the Muslims to this.